Good morning. Let us go for C program using 8051 microcontroller and Keel IDE for direction control of a DC motor. So first you open the Keel IDE where you have to write your program. So let us go for creating new project. So create new project, so select a folder in which you are going to create this project. So I have already one folder in which I'm going to create a project. Let us name this project as DC motor. Okay, so this is the name of the project. So now it will ask you for the microcontroller for which you want to make this project. So we want to make this project for the microcontroller 8051. So we don't want any startup code. We will be writing our small program for changing the direction of the motor. So what you have to do is, then using this editor you have to type the code. So the simple code for interfacing of the DC motor and simulating is direction control means we are just simulating the direction control of the DC motor. So this is one code available for the so this code consists of a simple simulation of direction control. So understand this code first. Try to understand the simulation what we are going to make. The direction control of the DC motor can be done by changing the direction of the current flow through the motor. So for simulation purpose, I have directly connected the DC motor to the port pins. Practically there will be always a current driving circuit required, so that motor can be connected to the port pins. So see how the motor connectivity is. So motor is connected to P1.0 and P1.1, and there is one switch which is connected to port 2.7. so it is pulled high through this particular pull-up resistor. So when this switch is open, this pin will get high voltage, and if this switch is closed, I will get 0 on this particular pin. So based on this switch position, either I will be getting 1 or 0 on to pin P2.7. Now if P1.0 is high and P1.1 is low, this will be the direction of current flow. And if I change the polarities, like if I make P1.1 high and P1.0 low, then this will be the direction of current flow. And what I can say, by changing the direction of the current flowing to the motor, I can change the direction of the rotation of the motor. Again I repeat, this is the simulation, that's why just I'm connecting the motor to the port pins. Practically there is a driver circuit required, and that driver circuit will be getting the input from the port pins, and the output of the driver circuit will be connected to the motor. Now let us try to understand the code for this. So P2.7 is the switch, then there are two pins which are connected to the motor, so P1.0 and P1.1. so I am assigning names to those pins as motor 0 and motor 1, and switch is named to the P2.7. so what can be a simple code for that is, just initially assume that the motor 0 pin is 0 and motor 1 pin is 0, so no output, so no rotation of the motor at all. And then I have a infinite loop, so I want continuous rotation of the motor. So what is done is, if switch is equal to 1 means actual, if the switch is open, then SW input will be 1. so then what I am doing is, motor 0 pin is made high and motor 1 pin is made low. So we can say the direction of the current flow, if it is what we can say, motor 0 is 1 and motor 1 is 0, so this is 1 and this is 0, so this will be the direction of current flow. Because of that, the motor will rotate in one direction, let us say it is a clockwise direction. And then what I do is, else means the switch is having 0 input. So if the input is 0, I change the direction by changing the output sound. So previously it was motor 0 was 1, now I make motor 0 as 0 and motor 1 as 1. so that's why the direction of the current will change. Okay, and because of that, the motor rotation direction will also change. So let us try to create a hex file for this particular project. uh, so I build the target, no error. So you have to enable the option for the creating the hex file. So now again rebuild the project so that hex file will get created in the folder in which you have done the project. And then in the simulation I have to give the path for the hex file. So you have done it in a folder for DC motor. So this is the hex file. So this hex file I'm using for my simulation. So let us run this simulation. So what I get is initially switch is closed, so that is what anti-clockwise direction I'm getting. And if I open the switch, so it will get 0 and see the motor direction has changed. So what I can say is just by changing this switch position I am able to change the direction of the rotation of the motor. So this is how a simple control can be done by using microcontroller. Actually in practical, if you want to implement this through hardware, there will be some additional hardware required which will be called as motor driving circuit. So for simulation purpose, directly just we have connected a DC motor to this particular port pins, and just by changing the switch position I am able to change the direction of the DC motor. This is the program using embedded C language to control the direction of the motor through the port pin output change. Thank you.